the art of nomination, the insights from the Project Controls Expo Awards. Every year, the Project Controls Awards recognizes and celebrates the outstanding achievement in the field of project controls. And this year, this webinar is planned for individuals and organizations who wish to file the nomination for this year's prestigious Asia Pacific Project Controls Expo Awards. To share the valuable insights on winning strategies while filing the nominations to the judging process. Today we have with us Yazeed Abdelhadi, the winner of the Australian Chartered Engineer of the Year 2023, and Patrick Weaver, again the winner of Wayne Wilson Award for Lifetime Contribution in Project Controls. Along with Yazeed and Patrick, we have Santhosh Therakam and Keith Farrell, who were the judges last year for the last year's award 2023. I won't take too much of time, but then I would request the winners first to share their insights on winning strategies, followed by the judges. We'll be speaking about the best practices, the judging process, and how they identify the excellence. I would first request Pat to start the conversation and share his thoughts on the Project Controls Expo Awards.
Thank you, Lomish. For those of you that don't know me, I was the winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award last year, which is not the best place to explain to people applying for the other awards where to start from, because you only get one lifetime. And I also need to apologise because I have to leave pretty much as soon as I've finished this. So with Lomish's permission, I'll take any questions immediately I finish speaking, because my wife is being awarded by PMI Melbourne chapter at their AGM tonight, and if I don't attend that, my remaining life expectancy could be measured in minutes. Really, the three things I'd like to suggest very strongly is, over a fairly extended career, both as a consultant and running a consultancy, almost all of the really good jobs have come because somebody contacted me or contacted us. They came to us wanting us to do something for them. To get to the position where somebody knows you are there and have something to offer, you really have to have a profile. And one of the best ways to get a profile amongst the people that are actually interested in project controllers, because they are interested in project controls, is through the PC Expo. It's a worldwide organisation. The Australian event's just one of many. And the profile of the event sort of reflects on you. So trying to build a profile for your organisation or for yourself, PC Expo is one of the best places to start and continue, and I am still interested, and I'll still be offering some papers for next year. It's a great place to be. The second one is just basic 101 common sense. As they used to say when the Lotto or Golden Casket, as it was called in Queensland many years ago, you've got to be in it to win it. You cannot win the award without actually applying. But it's really more than that. You don't need to win. Just being part of the process and having a profile built from the process is very powerful in itself. You get seen, you get recognition, you get the credibility of the PC Expo environment coming your way. So I would strongly advocate, even if you think, well, maybe this isn't the best possible way of going. That was certainly my opinion when I put the application in last year. Yeah, you never know your luck. So yes, you've got to be in it to win it. It's really worth applying. Which brings me to the last key point. This award's a bit different to some of the others. The judging panels don't wander around looking at things and building their own opinions or making inquiries. They seem to be pretty much structured with the information you provide them through the web forms. So what I'd strongly recommend is not only somebody does the application, but somebody else in the organisation or even outside the organisation that knows you well reviews it, because you do need to answer the question, answer the whole question and nothing but the question. And that way you'll provide the best set of information to the judges, which will then give them the opportunity to select you if you've got the best presentation and the best circumstances. But with all of us, we only have the jobs you are working on. If you're applying for one of the various criteria awards, you've only got the lifetime you've lived if you're applying for the lifetime award. It's not a question of that's better or worse or something else. It's just a case of being part of what's seriously missing in our industry, which is a celebration of really good project controls and project management. And I strongly advocate be in there. I don't really have anything else specific to say. I'm sure other people may have more technical aspects, particularly the judges. But if there's any questions, I'll be happy to take them. If not, I'll wish you a successful rest of the webinar and go forth and be nice to the wife.
Hello, Pat. Thank you so much. Now, I would request Yazeed to share his thoughts on the winning strategies for this year's award.
Thanks, Lomish. I'll try to add on what Pat has explained without really repeating what he has said. So for me, the hardest part for this conference and other nominations as well, you always get those invitations to nominate yourself or someone else to win an award. It's hard to get time to understand the criteria and the requirement for those. So I think that the most challenging part for me is to click on that link in that email to start reading about the award categories and the criteria for each category. Now, once I've done that, I realize it's much easier than I thought in terms of application. So I managed to understand which criteria I fit in, and then what are the requirements that I need to demonstrate in a way to be a finalist or to be considered for the award. So as having read the criteria, then I had to find time to do the submission. Now the submission itself, although it looks like a straightforward thing in terms of answering questions, in my case and probably some other cases, it's not like a direct, simple questions. Like I specialize in disputes in expert witness services and delay analysis. Now, would that fit in the project controls general domain? I wasn't sure, and I worked hard to turn my submission into a way that can fit the criteria within the category I applied for, at the same time demonstrate my experience. Another challenge I faced was that the questions are normally based on actual projects and actual success stories, and most of the projects I work on are confidential. I couldn't share any specific details, and I was not sure if the judges would be tolerant to this, like without really knowing which project I was referring to. So I worked hard on that submission, tried to explain exactly what I do, or having reviewed all the likely requirements of the judges. I highlighted the background for the projects I worked on, what I do, what I've achieved, the people I worked with, and the stakeholders involved in any project, and then the challenges I faced, and finally the results I've achieved. So that's in the submission, and probably that's the hardest part. Once that is done, I wasn't really sure what's going to happen, and suddenly I was a finalist. And again, shockingly, again, I was a winner. So although you would have hope, but you would not be really sure unless you hear your name in that night. So to simplify, I think as long as you believe in your own experience and that you can fit a specific criteria, just spend a little bit of time in making the application, and I think that should satisfy the judges and hopefully get you nominated. Yeah, probably that's it for me. Thanks, Lomish.
Yes, Yazid. Definitely, judges plays bigger role in reviewing all the nominations and then checking what best practices that the nominees have followed. They check. There is a way they check the excellence. Uh, so to add more about the best practices, how they identify the excellence, what they how they review. I would request Keith and then Santhosh one by one to share their thoughts as a judge for the Project Controls Expo Awards.
Sure. Thanks, Ramesh. Thanks for having me on today. I'm delighted to be able to take this opportunity and share the insights that I've had as a judge. I've been a judge for the past 2 events, and wanted to share with you at least my view on how the breakdown of the criteria is, how we identify excellence, and then how we evaluate. I think the first thing to address is the breakdown of the criteria. Each of the awards has a criteria page, which is broken down into a section that's described as what the judges are looking for each of the awards, and then broken down into various sections and subsections. Key point here, this is a bit like a work breakdown structure for you, those of you in Project Controls. And you really need to take the time to understand what each of those areas are. I would suggest dissecting each criteria and look at the word count, because that is going to be a constraint for you. We want quality, we don't want quantity. So it is going to take a bit of wordsmithing to get 250 words, 600 words, 500 words into that section. The main reason for that is also we have to read all of these, and we don't want to be reading novels. So you need to be able to succinctly and clearly provide us with that information. Have a look as well at the weighting for each of the sections. The weightings are important, as that will give you an idea which sections are higher weighting and which we're weighting when we score. Within each of those subsections as well, have a look at the sample questions or statements for the guidance on what you've been asked to write. With each of those sections, we will generally score them between 0, which is no evidence, and then 10, perfect evidence. So I can't emphasize enough that we mark the criteria and what's written. So make sure you understand what's been asked, and Pat mentioned this earlier, and answer the questions and sections you've been asked to answer. So how do we identify excellence? So once you've understood what you've been asked for, what I would suggest is find out what you believe is excellence. So remembering what the criteria is that you've been asked, think about how you can answer. And really this is about brainstorming, depending on the award, what you can get from the submission. Look beyond the surface, still delve deep into, what the achievements are, what sets you, your team, the project, the innovation, the team apart from others. Also impact of what you've done. We really want to see the essence of the achievement, to be truly outstanding. Consider the impact of what your work has done. Look at the tangible and intangible and describe them. For me, numbers is kind of important too. So something that's measurable. One of the feedback that we've given in the awards that I've judged has been how the actual criteria has been achieved. So when I'm talking about that, think about SMART objectives, they're specific, measurable. What are the things you can provide that are measurable, that has shown that will meet the criteria? Thinking like STAR, situation, task, action, outcome, those types of frameworks will help build those responses. So in terms of how we evaluate, as a judge, I seek authenticity, creativity, and passion. Really make sure that your submission reflects your unique voice and perspective. Be compelling, but above all, be genuine. And quality will always trump quantity. I'll refer back to the word count. It is going to take you a few times. I would suggest rewriting it at least once, if not twice. And that will help you refine the submission over time. Lastly, start early. It will take you time, and the last thing you want to be doing is putting this to pen to paper 5 days before the closing. So take the opportunity now and start.
So what I was saying is that I was telling Keith that he covered the whole ground. He left nothing for me to cover on. He is very meticulous, and we both were colleagues in one of the previous organizations where we worked together. Thank you very much, first of all, for PC Expo inviting me to be a judge in the last year. That was my first time ever. I work as a technical director at AECOM, and I happen to be a hardcore engineer, project manager, project director, and project controls director for Rio Tinto. And right now working as the technical director, looking into project controls, cost, schedule, and risk, and all these aspects together. And that being the case, I was in a reasonably good position to actually do the assessment. And I was very glad that PC Expo has invited me. That itself will show you the rigor or the quality of the organization, they're trying to just bring forward. And as we know, the project controls is all about controls. In a rigor, in a controlled environment, we are supposed to deliver certain things, and we come out with the framework. Exactly the same mindset you have to have when you're applying for these awards. And as Keith already identified, and he said, there is a criteria for each of these categories. Pay attention to the criteria. That is the start point. And if you are looking to, I was the judge on mega projects and on the Consultancy of the Year award last year, but the rigor or the quality of submissions was mind-blowing. It was very hard to compare, whom do we go with? That's where it goes down to the wire. So that means the reason I'm just making this very clear at this point of time is from what Keith has already said. If you are writing your submission, your document together, make it smart. It is a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, that you need to demonstrate that you have done these things and how those activities, whatever that you have carried out under this particular award category you're talking about, meet the criteria. So that is the fundamental thing. And the second thing, it is not one-off, you need to keep on tweaking it. And the beauty with the Project Controls Expo is that 2 to 3 months before to the conference itself, they release these award submissions. So there will be enough time for you to actually go and come out with a case study which best suits or reflects your candidacy as the award winner. That's where that you need to pay attention to. So other thing, Patrick talked about a recognition. He told that there could be only one winner end of the day, so it doesn't mean that all of the people, those who have submitted, they need to feel bad about it. We didn't win it, forget about it. That should not be the criteria. A recognition, submitting your award as a nominee itself is the indication in the cohort of project controls professionals to see that, yep, this guy, we need, these are the role models for the entire profession. That's how we are supposed to look at things rather than only looking at winning the award. So this session, what Lomesh is right now facilitating, is basically to give you the insights from the winners and the judges. So from the judges' perspective, when you're looking at it, we'll be looking into, okay, have you met the criteria that has been set in? And there is a word count as well. And as Keith already alluded to, we are not looking at the quantity. You may not have all 750 words or 1000 words required for a specific section or element of your criteria. But whatever that you do the due diligence is required, be to the point, and you just give the case studies. that will demonstrate, rather than just beating around the bush and just making big long stories. As Keith said, we are not sitting here to read the novels, was one way of putting it. So what we need to do is that we need to identify what you can actually represent yourself concisely, to the point, and at the same time meeting the criteria that has been asked for. So these things will resonate well with the judges. And as I said before, the submissions what we received are very high quality, and it has become very hard for the judges, for us to actually distinguish which of these two are better. So I ended up in reading 3 times each of the submissions, section by section, and compare. How do these people compare to each other? So that is the other aspect that you need to bear in mind. So you do that, write once, then you just route it through your friends or colleagues or any of the judges from the past. So you can just seek their advice and guidance there for that matter. There are people who can be the mentors. We all can be mentors for the people, the new generation project controls, or the practicing project controls professionals. So we can help you achieve this particular target. So that is one thing. And the second thing is with regard to the privacy. Yazeed touched upon, how can we talk about this? How can we talk about a project which is confidential in nature without disclosing the project details? How the judge is going to judge us? That's a big question all the time, that we have the same question always. But this world is so sensitive that some of these documentations we are going to submit for these awards. First of all, you have to get the client's approval in case if you are going to talk about the project, which is confidential in nature. So that part, please ensure that you are talking to your employer or the client, and ensure that if possible, include them in the submission in such a way that they are party to the things, they are buying into the whole process. So that will be a good segue to avoid the privacy issues. And number 2, in case if the client is not that keen, but you want to actually showcase, demonstrate whatever that you have carried out, you can do that. But in that case, totally make it bland, but you need to be very, very clever in articulating your statements. You cannot simply say, I cannot just tell you about the project, but I can't tell you what I have done, but you give me the award. It doesn't work like that. You have to actually show us what you have done, and why you need to be considered for this particular award. So you have to position yourself into the things there. And the third one is the rigor, the quality, the amount of time and effort that is required to put into these award nominations are humongous. Just I know that the time I spent in reading that, just I have taken ages, and I really enjoyed it. The way different perspectives, the same topic, how each of these organizations are presenting themselves. I learned in the process, it's a beautiful way of putting these things together. So the point I'm just making here is that when you're submitting for this nomination, you don't know what you don't know till such time you actually start writing it. And that will trigger something, we should have done this. And this is you need to demonstrate, like, in some instances, you need to get the client's feedback to support why you have done that, why you haven't done, or how you have supported the cause of the project. So those things are also key, and they're important when you submit your submission. So that is one of the criteria. I don't require to talk too much about it. So read the criteria, understand it. If you have got any questions, get back to Project Controls Expo guys, and they will get through the judges from the previous years, and we can give you off-the-shelf advice, not the project controls. It's a personal advice we can just provide you there. And all the best. Good luck with this year's nominations, and looking forward to judging this year as well. Over to you, Ramesh. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santhosh. Shared his insights on the judging process and all. I request Yazeed or Keith, if you have anything to add to what Santhosh has suggested, you can go ahead. Or maybe we can, yeah. Yes, Keith.
I'll probably just add more so than anything, get involved. If you're unsure whether you should put a submission or not in, I would encourage you to do so. The main reason for that is, regardless, you're going to get feedback, and it's a really good exercise. And the old adage goes, practice makes perfect. So even if you have an excellent submission, and Santhosh mentioned there was some really good ones last year. I had the 2 awards that I was involved in. I was interested to see what the other judges thought and who was going to win, because I couldn't pick a winner because each of the submissions had strengths in different areas. So it was really difficult to work out where the judges were going to pick the winners from. It's also a really good exercise to provide feedback for yourself or for your team. And it's going to be really beneficial to your career, the team's career, the projects, to get recognition, and that keeps them back up again. So, really want to encourage people to put submissions in. I know it takes time, but it is most definitely worth the effort, not just from a recognition perspective. The awards dinner is a fantastic night as well. I've been to 2 of them now, and they are really, really exciting nights, and they're very good to be a part of.
For me, I would just emphasize from an applicant perspective that time to do it is now. Like, never delay, because if you keep delaying, it will just go away and you lose the opportunity. Just do it now.
Thank you, Yazeed, and thank you, Keith. Now we will move on to question Q&A session. So I would request attendees, if you have any questions, you can type in chat, or you can, if you wish, you can raise hand so that I can open the mic. Jefferson or Ryan, Ellie, do you have any questions? No worries. We have recorded this. Okay.
Yes, Shadi has raised the hand. Lomesh.
Yeah, I'll just. Yes, Shadi, you
Yes,
can go ahead with your
can you guys
questions.
hear me?
Yeah, we
Thank you
can
so
hear
much, guys, for all the information. I might just be asking a question that might be online, but can you give us a timeline of the submissions? Because Keith, you said it's like 3 months before the event. We talk about November. So as Yazeed said, it's always Yazeed emphasizing on starting now, but like when do we basically is the deadline of the submission? At least to have a target to chase. That's my question. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, sure. So 27th of June is the last date of submission for the Asia Pacific Project Controls Expo Awards 2024. I'll share the small presentation where you can go to our website where you can see the timeline, the categories and criteria, everything. So for just as the question is quite a short, so I'll just tell you that it is 27th of June. Rest of the information you can gather from our website.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any question, Ryan, Ellie, or Jefferson? No worries. For the attendees, there is a small presentation I have prepared, so I'll quickly share with you. Just give me a moment. So this year's Asia Pacific Project Controls Expo Awards will be happening on Tuesday, 26th November at our MCG venue. About the Project Controls Expo Awards, so it recognizes and celebrates outstanding achievement in the field of project controls. This webinar is again a plan to have more insights for the nominees, those who are interested to file their nomination for this year's award in November. If I move ahead, you can see the winners in past. So these winners come from the diverse background, diverse industry background, rather, I would say. So Hong Kong MTR won the award. Then Margaret Henry School Expansion won the award in one of the Project Controls Awards in previous years. And these are some of the names: BAE Systems, Prescience Technology. About the starting of the awards, it was started in 2019 Due to pandemic, we could not organize the expo and the awards in 2020 and 2021. But then again, at that time, we had organized virtual events, but then it was not awards. But then we returned to physical events in 2022. So again, we held award in 2022, and then last year. So we have one of the winners, that is Yazeed in 2023, and then the judges were Keith and Santhosh. Uh, I just want to share who some of the images from past uh, winners of past years. So you can see here. You may not be able to recognize all of them. The screen is quite small, but then I'll share this presentation with you. But then these people are quite known to project controls industry. So uh, you can recognize them, or you must have met them. You might have worked with them in previous organizations, or in if you are in the same organization. Uh, as Shadi asked the question about the timeline or submission, so you can see the key dates for 2024. So we will launch awards nomination process on March 7th. Uh, so we have you have time until 27th of June to prepare your nomination and then submit it by or before 27th. You can always come to us. You can always come to us, write an email to us and ask if you have any question, as the judges mentioned. Uh, Finalists will be announced on 17th September, and the winners will be announced on the first day of the expo, where the award evening happens. So 26th November will be the award ceremony. Uh, about the categories of the awards. So you can see all the categories here: consultancy of the year, engineer, innovation, lifetime, mega projects, professional, small business, sustainability. So this year, in the Asia Pacific Awards, we have added two categories. One of them is small business of the year, and the other one is tech company of the year. So about the small business or the tech company, you can check our website and the criteria for both the categories. And move on to new slide. So why should individual or organizations nominate for this award? So this is these are some of the reasons that even the judges have mentioned during their conversation. So it gives you a career boost, it validates your skills, and it also gives you an opportunity when you attend the award ceremony. So from across the Asia Pacific region and the Australia, project controls professionals come and attend the award ceremony, as well as the uh, Project Controls Expo every year. So this is, I would say, it is a great networking opportunity for project controls professionals to meet the leaders in the industry, expand their network, and forge valuable connection, which will help you in future when you will move on from your current organization. Even if you don't move, this will definitely help you to learn new things, build network. Yes. And for the organizations, as I mentioned, uh, this help you to attract top clients. So when the organization win the award, this demonstrates the organization's commitment to the excellence and boost the best practices. And this definitely leads to seeking or the seeking or attracting the talent. It also enhances the reputation. It creates a benchmarking. As a you can see the point here, winning an award allows you to benchmark your project control practices against the industry leaders, and inspires the spirit of innovation within the field. So definitely to the individuals and organization, if you don't participate, you will never know. You don't file the nomination, you will never know what's going to happen. How you won't understand what is the feedback for the submission that you have done. So we always encourage individuals and organizations to come forward and file the nominations for the awards. Not least, so here are the important links for the how to file nominations for this year's awards. You can go to guide to entry. You can read the rules of the entry. As I mentioned the in previous slide about the categories and the criteria. So here is a link for it. Uh, about the timeline, so filing the nominations, announcing the finalists, and finally handing over the trophies to the winners. So whole event program is given here on the website, and the registration. So how to register? So if you have the colleagues from company or from outside company, those who wish to attend this year's expo as well as the awards ceremony, so they can go to the registration link and they can register for the awards show and for the expo. uh, I am the awards manager for this year's Asia Pacific Project Controls Expo Awards. So you can for any questions or any queries that you have related to nominations, you can reach out to uh, us on the email ID mentioned here. I'll share this document with you, all the attendees, and you can also directly email to me, write to me on Lomesh at Project Controls Expo Award .com. I'm I'm very much active on LinkedIn, so we can definitely connect on LinkedIn as well. And if you have any questions, you can direct to reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. I believe I have provided the enough information which will help you during filing the nomination. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you. Any question from anyone? No worries. So we will end this webinar, but then I would before we end this webinar, I would like to thank Yazeed, Keith, and Santhosh for uh, supporting and coming forward to be here and share insights on the winning strategies and the best practices to file the nomination for the Project Controls Expo Awards 2024. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Lomesh.
you.
Yeah, thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much. Thanks, everyone.